Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new episode of On Uncle's Farm. So we're here in July, getting ready to do a little more hay cutting here pretty soon. I think it's a little bit short. Door here on the old Quonset, but so we're getting ready here. I'm gonna get everything ready to start getting some second cutting going, and then there's one new piece that I'm gonna be cutting on top of some of the stuff that I did last time. When I say last time, I mean last year. So I got all that stuff knocked out that we were doing earlier last episode. I got that all knocked out, so that's all good. So we're just getting everything hooked up now. I did some maintenance on this. So we got all the hay sold. We got about 100 grand off of that, which was really good. But I suppose we did have a crap ton of hay. Just not as much as the first year. First 2 years, we had so much hay. Holy cats. But so we bought some more cows, and I put in a cattle guard. I'll show you guys here. Work a little bit. So here's the cattle guard. Makes it just a lot easier for doing really anything. So yeah, but we got that ready. So now I'm gonna hop over, get in the good old 8400. Let me turn super strength off. There we go. So we'll back this out, or I think I should open that side door, and I can pull it out through there. Yeah. Quick hop out here. Open the door. We'll hop back in. Shut the door. Now, I should put this in order. Yeah. Too late now. So we'll get him. Fall on him. So you're ready to go. And then hop in the old case. See if this thing will start up. Oh yeah, sweet. So this is pretty much, honestly, I think might be one of my, not favorite tractors, but this is definitely got a lot of hours on her. It's surprisingly, it still has a lot of power to it. It hasn't really lost a whole lot of power. It could still pull this. It pulls this big rhino rake pretty well, but I'm considering on buying a smaller one again. I know I did just kind of go and buy this big one, but I want to buy a smaller one for when we put up ditches and that stuff, because when we're in the ditches, that doesn't do the greatest of job because it doesn't have a lot of room to flex. So yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna get going here on a little bit of second cutting, or a little bit of CRP ground. If I can straighten the mower out, that'd be great. There we go. But otherwise, everything's looking good. Corn and beans are looking good. They're all turning out pretty well. Just whoa. Anyways, we'll go down this waterway back into this field over here, kind of like we did before. done pretty much to get back here. Kick this out a little bit. Cut a little bit, make sure that's doing a good job. Yeah, that looks good. Sweet. Alright. Now. That's good. Hop into here. Pull this forward a little bit. And then just pull this right up there. That's about good. So, quick. Up in the old 4840. Well, you know, kind of helps if you drop down. But anyways, so. Alright, we are rolling. Alright. So yeah. Looks like this is working out pretty good. Oh, try not to mow over the beans. Jeez. There we go. I think this should work out a little bit better. Ooh, yikes. Crap, I kind of screwed up. Let me swing this. There we go. Swing it back in. Swing it out. There we go. Sweet. Kind of saved it there. But yeah, so this is just a little patch that we're cutting. It's not very big at all. It's better than no hay, pretty much. So we're keeping all of this hay. Well, it depends on how many bales we get. I would like to get probably around 60 bales, and then once we get 60 bales, I think we'll just sell everything beyond there. Which is why I'm cutting this stuff over here. So. Yeah, so back to the 4840. I am thinking about maybe in a year or two getting rid of this and buying a 7810, just because of the fact that, well, it's got some hours on it. You know, surprisingly, this thing has actually got more hours on it than the Case IH. Than the raking tractor we got on the rake right now, and it's definitely taken some notable wear on this thing. I mean, we're starting to get to that kind of point in its life where you kind of want to get rid of it before, like the engine blows up on it, or you start having engine problems, because that's when kind of the big money issues start coming in, pretty much. And we're already struggling with money. I haven't even paid off our $300,000 loan yet. So we still gotta worry about that. But I think it's not really a big deal, I guess. Probably just gonna, well, I don't know. It kind of depends. It was just an idea, really. To get rid of this and get a 7810, it'd be a lot better, I guess you could say, or however you'd want to put it. You know, I mean, we could put that on the disc, and then it'd be able to run that a lot better. It'd be able to run this Moco a lot better. It'd be a lot beefier. It just handle a lot better. Plus, this thing only has 150 horsepower, while that 7810 would have like what, 220, maybe 230 if we tuned it up a little bit. So it would have a lot more horsepower. And if we're gonna be getting into, you know, like if we're gonna start mixing, like if we're gonna start chopping corn and mix in feed for our cows, then I would like a tractor that could, you know, run the feed mixer. You know, just beat the crap out of pretty much. And well, we've pretty much already beaten the crap out of this, so that's why I was thinking about getting rid of it. But we might keep it after we get the 7810, or we might sell it, or I'm not sure what we're gonna do with this, but we're just having some decent sized issues with it, pretty much. The other day, I forgot what it was. It was something on the loader where we couldn't move it at all, so we were down a day, and I couldn't sell bales, so that kind of sucked. But, so, yeah, I guess it is what it is, really. We might, I guess, I don't know. It depends. I'm thinking about keeping this. I think tops, I want to keep it for, I don't want to keep it for longer than 4 years, because at that point we're going to be hopefully a way bigger operation, and by then I'll hopefully have a bigger combine than a 7720. But I'd like to get rid of this thing in less than 4 years, because this thing is starting to get a lot of wear on it. But I guess, well, this could be another one of them tractors that we could just be like one of the original tractors of the farm, pretty much. But kind of like that case is, like how we're never going to sell that off, because it's, you know, the whole thing that started all this. That was the tractor that ran the planter and everything once. So, but yeah, so everything's going good. I think that's about it. So I will see you guys once we are mowing the new, or I should say new hay ground, which is over by that barn, kind of. Alright guys, so we just got done cutting that field. So, got cutting that little bit right there. So now we're heading over to the new piece. Now, this is pretty new ground, to me at least. I'm not sure what the whole ordeal is. I think it used to be pasture, where this guy used to milk cows, and that's where his, old milking barn used to be. And that's where he lives now, I guess. Or maybe that was his dad's place. And I don't know. But what I do know is that it all used to be pasture. So, we're gonna come out here today and we're gonna mow most of it all down. So we'll just go around the kind of the edges. But we're gonna mow like everything, even this prairie road, because it's pretty much just a pasture. So, get everything mowed down. So we'll go around the barn and all that, but yeah, looks like looks like an old milking barn. That's what it looks like, so. But yeah, we'll go around the edges of the field here. We'll go around, kinda, right, just stick along the tree line pretty much. But I'm not sure, we'll have to cut that bit over there next month. I don't think I'll show most any of that, or a little bit any of that really on camera, because you guys have already seen me do most of the stuff over there on that. But whoa, okay, didn't hit anything, good. But it does kind of really, this stuff does kind of have a, this pasture kind of does have a tendency to have a lot of weaving of in and out. You see, there's a lot of farm ground that isn't, or there's a lot of ground along there that doesn't get farmed. I think that's also because it used to be in pasture, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure why he doesn't farm closer to the trees. Maybe because it's too steep, but this honestly wouldn't be a bad section to own, because it owns. You get that field over there, this field, and then you get that little bean field there, and it comes with this whole pasture here, that barn, and then you get all that grass, and then there's some more pasture back in there, so there's a lot of ground on this property for sure. A lot of ground that's not farmed, I guess, so I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess this must be in CRP after, I think the story goes that his dad put it in CRP after he quit milking cows, I think is the whole deal, and he tore all the fence line out. So yeah, see if I can bring this mower around, and then I'm gonna go around the barn a couple times. I'll go around the barn and do that, go around there so we make it look a little bit nicer. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this was milked because there's a milk tank. We could bring that in a little bit, take it back out. There we go. Try not to hit the barn. Get as close as we can. Okay, we're good. Looks like them are the old barn doors for this building. But yeah, so. Whoa. That was close, almost hit the milk tank there. That old milk tank. Get all this stuff around it all mowed up. There we go. Looking good, looking good. Getting all this mowed up. And then I'll just do this a little bit here. Get all this little stuff done. Here. Get all this little stuff done. But I'll do 3 headlands because, like I've said before, that rake, the big rake, or our rake, can take 3 windrows. 4 if you're not taking in the whole windrow on all the passes, you know, like if you're not taking in the full width. But yeah, otherwise this is working out pretty good. I'm not sure, I was thinking about it, but probably not gonna mow that prairie road. So yeah, so I'll see you guys once I'm done mowing. Alright guys, welcome back. So we are over here on the new piece. It is August and we are cutting away over here. We got everything moved over here. But we're cutting this little bit of, this is just a little bit of a new piece right here. Pretty much. So it's just a little bit more, just so we can make sure that we get enough feed for our cows. So yeah. But I got everything moved over here. I got the 8400 over here. I got the case over here. So yeah, I was just going around the edges. I'm not entirely sure why I didn't mow this. I guess the first time this spring. I guess I didn't really realize, I guess, that it was part of our the stuff that we could cut, I guess. But I think I'll finish cutting this little bit down here since it's kind of down here and not really where we are. So I'll just cut this while we're down here, because I still got to do a little more. This is just all this stuff that's on this side of the tracks. So, but yeah, otherwise everything is going pretty good. Hopefully we get enough hay off of this that we are able to feed our cows through the winter. But yeah. And then also we got all that stuff baled over there by that barn. We got all that stuff put up. So that's all good. So yeah, otherwise everything is going good. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to, with the money from the cows and the corn and the beans, that hopefully we'll be able to pay off the loan. And that'll be good. So, and then I have a big plan once we pay off the loan. I have a pretty big plan. So you guys will have to just stay tuned to find out. It doesn't include getting rid of this, so don't worry too much. But so yeah. But everything's working out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this mower. It works out really nice. Does a nice job. I'm glad I got this. It does a nice job. Boy, I swear, I could mow just like little patches just like this for like years, man. This stuff's satisfying. That's kind of what I like about mowing, but this will probably be the last cut, so I'm going to cut pretty much everything. I'm going to cut a good amount of stuff, because this is going to be the last time we're going to be able to cut it this year. As you can tell, it's starting to really gray up and starting to kind of die off and die for the winter. So usually you don't want to cut it in later than August, because then you have some bad regrowth next year, and you're not really getting a whole lot when you're cutting it next year. Same with alfalfa. That's why a lot of people don't do 4 cuttings of alfalfa, because then your regrow is just not that good. Next year it's not really worth it. Usually first cutting is always the best, because it hasn't been cut before that year, and it's had all winter, not necessarily to grow, but just to, I don't know, do what grass does, I guess. But yeah, so it's working out pretty good. So you guys might recognize where I am now. This is where I was in the spring. I was over here cutting. So if you just go through that little crack there, that's where I was. And there's actually an approach over there. So yeah, that's nice. But I'm thinking about buying a new trailer to haul bales on, because the one that we got, well, I kind of figured something bad out on it. Well, it turns out that one of the axles is cracked on it, so because of my quote-unquote professional loading and how much weight I put on that trailer that I shouldn't really, so it's kind of my fault, but I guess it is what it is. So I guess I got 2 options. I could try to weld it back together, or I could just try to scrap it, I guess, and just try to buy a new one. I'll probably just scrap it and try to buy a new one, probably. So, but yeah, I think, yeah, I'll probably just do that, but I gotta cut this. I don't think I'm gonna cut this a little bit. It's not a lot there, so I'm just not gonna cut it. There's not a lot there either. just this stuff this piece that I'm working on right now is all I'm gonna cut. So I was thinking about doing that one prairie road that's kind of over by that barn, but I kind of changed my mind because I didn't want to. Just have brain fart. I didn't want to. I know that our rake doesn't really do the greatest job when it's on ground like that, kind of. So. See if I can set my GPS. Okay, that's gonna have to be good enough. Yeah, that looks good. So, yeah, well, we're rolling away. Looks like this is looking pretty good. Swing it around, but yeah, this is working out pretty good. So, I'll see you guys once I'm done cutting this field and I'm bringing this home. Alright guys, so we just finished cutting that bit. So, boy, these windows look nice. So do these. Very, very satisfying. But so don't look at the maintenance bar. Alright, this thing needs a little bit of maintenance. That's kinda why I wanted to get rid of it, is because this thing cost me a ton of money. You know? I mean, like, not being realistic, this thing cost me about, it's gonna cost me 15 grand to repair it, repaint it, and about $1,000 to repair it. And it does this about every couple of hours in game, which sucks. So, but I guess it is what it is. So that's all the hay we're gonna cut for now. I think this will be good enough. Roughly, I think this is gonna be a ton of hay because I already got a bunch of bales at home. So, well, I still haven't hauled home all them bales from there. So, start up the old case. Old, reliable. Probably one of the most reliable tractors on this farm, other than the 8400. I think that's probably one of our best tractors because that's got all the nice stuff on it. That's got the most horsepower. We got all the duals for that. But, so, I think this might be the first time that you guys, maybe not, maybe, I'm not sure. Might be the first time you guys see this rake work. But it does a pretty nice job. It's a pretty big rake. We can take in 3 windrows worth it. This case does an amazing job pulling it. Never really struggle, but yeah. So it's a big Rhino 20 wheel rake. They usually only use these rakes in like the areas where hay doesn't yield that good. But I guess our hay isn't that great yielding, I guess. So we can use one. There we go. Hop in here. Alright. Start her up. Let's get pulled over to here. We'll turn it on. Rev it up. Drop it down. There we go. And then we'll get my buddy over here to help bale. So yeah, this baler's got a lot of bales on it. I'm excited to see how many bales we'll have on it, but I think we had like 160 bales on there before we did all that stuff. So for first cutting, we got like 160 bales, I think. So that was pretty good. But I think this rake should work pretty well. The only thing I don't really like about it is that these back wheels turn, and that kind of makes it hard for the guy following me to pick it all up. A follow me guy to pick it up, but it does a pretty good job, I guess, on the up and down. So, but that baler does have a hard time keeping up since I do have such a massive rake. mean, this thing is just massive. It's way bigger than we really need, so. But I'm looking at buying maybe buying back. I know it's kind of a dumb idea. I kind of feel dumb now selling my Surtex rake. I should have just kept that and just bought this, because that our other rake would have done a much better job in the ditches and a lot curvier stuff. But yeah, see, like right here, it just missed some because of how uneven it was, you know. I mean, this rake is pretty much just meant for big, flat, wide open fields, pretty much. It's not really meant for those, not really meant for like ditches and that stuff because of how big it is, and not really meant for these littler fields that are kind of uneven, you know. But it gets the job done, and we're going a lot faster. And I just hooked one of the trees. That's fun. Let's see here if I could just maybe just barely slip by it. There we go. Now we're talking. Better wait for that guy to catch up. While we're out here, better check on this. Looks like it's doing pretty good. I'd like to take this tree out if we're going to keep on haying it. Probably ask the guy if we could take it out. But yeah, it looks like, yeah, looks like it's set pretty tight. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Feel around on the window here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Seems about right. Let's see here if I go out into the middle of the field here. Yeah, that seems like pretty good. Feels pretty good. So, but yeah, he makes a bale about every, I don't know, maybe 200 feet, maybe less. I don't know, I'm kind of bad at guesstimating, but he makes a bale pretty often, especially in the good yielding stuff. So, but yeah, that tractor does a pretty good job for how many hours are on it. Probably the most reliable, because we're having a lot more issues with the 4840, and that has only a little more hours on it than this. But I remember the good old days when we used to run the good old square baler on this, the old square baler, and we had the hay rack and that old mower. But, so we're just right here by the train tracks, so I think I'll call it for an episode today. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. We will probably be